All right, so we are in a basement, obviously, and we're gonna be fixing today an exterior hose bib. So we've found our line, and conveniently, it's already labeled for us, which is helpful. This guy runs all the way down into this room, takes a turn that way, is right outside the rim joist, and there's a little bit of a leak, so that's what we'll be looking at. So in this storage room, it kind of smells a little musty, so it definitely smells like basement or like it's been getting wet. Here goes through the wall, takes a hike up that way, and then right here. I can't get far enough back there, so we're gonna have to move some of these items out of here for now to be able to access that. But we can see on this car hood, there's some water. It looks like hitting up top there, so our leak is probably somewhere in this area.
Once I moved some of these items, I was able to get better access to the area where the leak was.
Here's where our hose bib comes in through our rim joist. All of this wood is damp and wet, and then we can see we got beads of water on here. Part I'll probably plumb in PEX a little ways because that's the style of hose bib I have. Is not a copper one, but a PEX one. So as I'm looking at it, I'm thinking that's what's going on. This is a frost-proof hose bib, and the reason they call it frost-proof is essentially for this reason. There's actually a rod in here, so that our handle connects to a rod. So we turn that rod, what it does is it spins and it threads out. And then there's a little seal back here, kind of like a little plunger type deal. And as you do that, as you turn it on that end, it's gonna open that seal and close that seal. So where it's actually closing off is back here. And then when you install these, you need to make sure that you install it at a slight downward angle, so it's pitched like that. That way, so that when it closes back here, there's usually those couple drifts you get at the very end. What that actually is that's the water that's left in this part of the tube draining out. That's why you want that downward pitch. If you get too level, or if you get back pitch at all, what's gonna happen, and I'm guessing this is maybe what happened with this one, is that water is gonna sit in there and then it will freeze, harden, and it can possibly damage or break this seal or this connection here. Now our end here, this one particularly is made for connecting to PEX. That's the type of fitting that this one is. They make different ones, so you can get the regular copper type. And then this is also anti-siphon, so you got your siphon lock there. That's pretty much how these work. One of the things you'll notice with these is they have this here, which is, you just kind of call it like a siding wedge, but you'll notice it is actually a wedge. So it's slightly thicker at the top and thinner at the bottom. And what that basically does is, so if your house is plumb, assuming that's gonna help you get that downward angle when you actually go to fasten this thing to the side of your house. That's what that is hopefully doing, right? Instead of it sitting level like that, that wedge is gonna make it so it comes in like that. So that's hopefully the thing that's gonna get you your angle. You gotta make sure you got enough room to get your angle on the inside from where you drilled the hole.
Here is the existing anti-siphon frost-proof spigot that we will be replacing because, well, it was not all that frost-proof because it split and leaked everywhere. Notice that it does not have the siding wedge, which is ultimately what led to its failure in this case. Here I am turning it back on just to confirm that it does actually in fact leak on the inside.
So unfortunately it's gonna be hard to see, but there's actually a split in this pipe. You'll be able to see once we get it out.
Since we know it's leaking, we are going to shut off the supply valve while we make the repair. If you don't have a line-specific supply valve running to the spigot, you'll probably have to turn it off at the main. Once it's off, we are ready to remove the exterior hose spigot. Typically, these will have a threaded copper fitting, and we're going to try to unscrew that from the outside.
I don't want to go too hard. Now, normally, you're going to be able to just spin this off. This guy's pretty old, which is probably not why it's working. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna go in there, cut it with my pipe cutter a little bit back, because I know I'm installing PEX for quite a ways anyway. Just barely enough room to get her by up there.
Each time you make a revolution or two around the pipe, go ahead and tighten the cutting wheel about a quarter to a half turn each time.
Not won't get a bucket to catch that.
Normally you should be able to just push this whole assembly out, but our threaded fitting is too large to fit through the hole, so we're going to have to cut this copper pipe. Now I don't have enough room to get my pipe cutter in there to turn it, so I am actually just going to leave the pipe cutter stationary and then turn the pipe in order to cut the copper.
Now the problem we run into is that rod in the center of the pipe. So even though our copper's broken, it's going to be hard to get this off, so we're just going to bend and snap it.
then on the outside, we can just slide the hose spigot out. You can see we got a good sized split here from freeze damage. This is where the pipe froze and split, and that's where all the leaking water in the basement was coming from. We are now ready to install the new frost-proof spigot. This part here is vitally important. Make sure that you have the wedge facing the right direction to give you a downward slope so the water can drain out when you turn the hose bib off. Next, we are going to seal around the spigot with an exterior grade silicone. We're only going to seal around the top half. That way the water has a way to escape if it gets behind it, you know, like rainwater. Then we're going to fasten the spigot back to the exterior rim board. Next, all you need to do is make the plumbing connection, and that is a wrap, or a pipe, or a spigot. Anyway, water things. Pipes. If you want to see how I made the connection to the PEX line and replace the old copper water line with PEX, check out this next video. And with that, may your basement always be dry and not leaky, and your pipes not squeaky, because nobody likes squeaky pipes, but especially leaky ones. Leaky and squeaky, worst of both worlds.